Hi, I'm Justin Wong, and this is the Boys Podcast, and I'm here chatting with Joe.
Coach Bombay's Ducks will be joined by some of the top young players from around the United States.
Tell me about my new kids. Isn't that kid from the Olympics, the figure skater?
Yep, Ken Wu, what can I say? I convinced him that hockey had more of a future. We put a stick in his hands, nobody's been able to touch him.
Yeah! What'd you think of that? Pretty sweet, huh? Hey, you want a piece of me? Hey, what I do? 2 minutes? Well, worth
Yo, Russ, you gotta teach me how to talk some trash.
It can't be taught, Kenny, man. I mean, it's gotta be the first thing that comes to your mind. You just gotta go for it. Try it.
Okay. Hey, Raf.
Shh. Pick another target.
Hey, number 44. You don't play real good.
Yeah, right. Shorter, man. Get to the point.
Hey, number 9. Bite me.
Man. Now we're getting so much.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Boys Podcast. Today, I'm joined by a legendary actor. What's your name, sir?
My name is Justin Wong. I don't know necessarily if I'm legendary, but I'm very happy to be here on your podcast.
Thank you, Justin. What have you been up to, during these times of quarantine? How's your quarantine?
So I work in the concert industry. That's my main job. I'm an audio engineer. I still do some stuff in the studio, but because up in Vancouver here, the concert and live event industry has been pretty much shut down. I'm kind of on semi-retirement. So it was definitely nice to get the call to return to the Mighty Ducks as Ken Wu in the new series, Mighty Ducks Game Changers. And so there is about half a month where I was doing that. Other than that, I'm just been in the studio and staying at home, staying safe, and just going for walks every day, pretty much.
Wow. Oh, at least, if I remember correctly, isn't some of the show filmed in Canada too, like Game Changers? So
yeah, the entire series was filmed in Vancouver. They started I think early 2020. I think they did the pilot, and then COVID shut them down for a while, and then they started back up in August, and then we filmed our episode in October.
Oh, it's perfect. You're right by Vancouver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. See, my quarantine, I just graduated virtually high school.
Yeah.
And then I figured I started doing these podcast interviews to help spread positivity during these tough and negative times.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think that's awesome, and that's kind of what everybody needs right about now.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Now, what made you want to become an actor, and did you have an inspiration for acting? Is there somebody you looked up to?
Well, when I was young, I didn't necessarily want to become an actor. I think what happened was my mom enrolled me into some youth theater groups where we would just get together. There'd be a teacher, and then we just come up with some sort of silly play to present to our parents at the end of a couple of weeks. And from then, I just started doing commercials, and then I just got a call. Somehow my mom figured out that there was a call out for D2, the Mighty Ducks, and then told my agent, and we sent a tape down, and then got extremely lucky. Got called down for a screen test, and actually filmed an audition with the original Ducks, which was probably when I was 12 years old. I was so starstruck. I was actually down there. I didn't even have the part yet, but then here I was meeting Josh Jackson, Eldon, Garrett, Brandon, everybody, and actually getting to film with them. Even if I didn't get the part, I would have been so happy to have just gone down there and done that. And then I find out a few weeks later I got the part. So I want to say I was ever inspired to become an actor, but it just kind of happened, I guess.
Wow, that's cool. I'd be starstruck too. I'd be holy smokes, you're the Ducks,
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Okay, now, do you have a favorite role that you've done?
Well, I haven't done many roles. I think it would have to be Ken Wu, because it's probably the most impactful role that I've played. But the only other kind of things I've done is I did a bunch of Milton Bradley board game commercials when I was a kid. Some cereal commercials. I did this one up here. We got CBC, which is a Canadian broadcast company, and there was a series when I was young called The Odyssey about a young boy that fell and hit his head and went in a coma. And in this coma world that he was in, there was no adults. So, and I played like gang member number 1, like maybe had like 1 or 2 lines or something like that. So that was my actually first TV experience. And then I did the Mighty Ducks, which is my favorite role. I did like an episode of Millennium. I don't know if you remember Millennium. It's similar to X-Files, but basically I was in like that first 5-minute scene, which always sets up the episode. And I think it was like an episode about someone that was killing people on the internet. So me and another character were watching this. That other character, coincidentally, was actually in that same Odyssey series in CBC. So we were already kind of friends, but we watch this thing. We think it's just like some weird thing on the internet, and then we actually see someone get killed on the internet, and that set up the episode for the rest of that show called Millennium. And then the other kind of maybe favorite thing that I've ever done, I guess as an actor, was this commercial that I did with the Sedin twins.
Oh, okay, Daniel.
So, yeah, so I don't know if you can still look it up. There's a long version, which I'm in, where it was kind of it was an NHL commercial done by the NHL, and like basically it was a bunch of guys pretend like having some sort of bachelor party, and they're like, oh yeah, we got some Swedish twins coming, and then we open the door and there's Daniel and Henrik, and they come in and they kind of walk by, and you just kind of see my face as they walk by. I eventually got cut out of the long version, and there's like a short 10-second version, but then the Sedins dance trust and stuff like that. So I would say that experience would definitely come in second to Ken Wu.
Wow, I know you're there now. I gotta watch that commercial closely.
Yeah, yeah.
See, that's the commercial I think of when you say the Sedins. I'm like, is that the one that like looking for the twins and they think the girls are expecting?
Yeah. No, it was set up as if they were going to be strippers or something like that, but then it ended up being Daniel and Henrik. Funny thing is, though, like there's always the kind of the running joke is like, oh, they must drive Volvos being from Sweden. When they pulled up to the hotel that we were filming in, they actually came in a Volvo SUV, and we're like, we knew it.
That's cool. Wow. And then like they were great players. Like I wish they maybe play like another year or two. Like they were really good players.
Yeah.
Henrik, Daniel.
Yeah, legendary. They're huge in Vancouver, human beings. The Vancouver, they've done so much charity work for us, and they're so humble. They always know how to present themselves. They know that they're huge role models. Like they're just outstanding citizens.
I like that. Yeah, I think Bo Horvat makes like a good captain. Like since Henrik is gone.
Yeah, I think Bo probably learned a lot from them. I imagine he probably learned quite a bit from Trevor Linden when he was president during his early years with the team. And I think even just hearing stories about Bo Horvat when he was a kid and when he played juniors and in the minors, he was also an upstanding person and a great leader. And it's showing how he's progressed, how great of a person he is as well. I got to meet him actually during the Anaheim Silver Weekend. Got to take a picture with him, so that was pretty awesome as well.
That's cool. I like that. Oh, see, Canuck fancy.
Yeah.
You're cool, Justin.
Yeah. Yeah, we live and die by the Canucks, and right now we're unfortunately dying a little bit, but next year or the year after, we'll be there. We'll be competitive again.
Is there, since we're on the sport of that, is there anybody you want the Canucks to get in the draft specifically in the upcoming draft?
I haven't followed the draft, but I know there's another Hughes brother available. Yes. If we get a high pick, I think it would be awesome to bring Quinn's brother onto the team. I don't really know how good he is. I don't know what the class draft is like, but if we get in the top 3, I think he would definitely be my choice.
Nice. Yeah, Luke Hughes. That's his name.
Yeah.
There's this one kid that's really good. He's a defenseman, Owen Power.
Oh yeah.
He's really good. Oh my God. He's like, they say he's the next They say the next
Crazy.
Bobby. I was like, holy smokes, you know.
Well, we definitely need to beef up our defense core for sure.
Yeah. See, you got it. Okay. Now, how did it feel to reprise your role back in Game Changers? How did that feel to come back as Ken Wu?
It's been an adventure. Like it's been it has like the Mighty Ducks has not been part of my life for the better of the last 25, even 30, 28 years, I think, is after D3. It started to creep back in when Jordan Kerner, the executive producer of all three movies and of the series, he invited us all over just to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the first movie. So we just went down, like we all met up in LA, went to his house, had dinner, took some photos, and there was some whispers going on during that dinner that there might be a series being talked about. And I think Disney Plus was kind of in its infancy in its creation. So people were definitely like saying, well, if this Disney Plus becomes a thing, then Mighty Ducks would definitely be something worth pitching. And then a couple years ago, there was the Anaheim Silver Week. Got to go down to Anaheim. They played Vancouver. Mm-hmm. So when they said, yeah, we're doing this thing, they're playing Vancouver. It's the 25th anniversary of the Anaheim Ducks. We would like you to come. And I was like, yes, please. So this is turning into a long story, but like got down there, we got to skate on the Honda Center. And as we were getting dressed, we were kind of getting dressed just kind of right next to where the Zamboni goes on and off the ice. And then I've been talking to the PR rep in Anaheim and be like, hey, is there any way I can meet the Canucks? Is there any way I could like see their state game day skate or anything? But unfortunately, they didn't have a game day skate. But then she did tell me, hey, their bus is coming, just got here. They're about to walk down the hall while I was getting dressed. And then like I got up and I just kind of like waited in the hall and be like, where are they? And then they all just kind of poured in. I'm like, hey guys, hey, how's it going? PD was wearing his headphones. He's just like straight ahead. Walked by me, and then I say hi to Stetcher, who was still on the team, waved at Bo and all of them, and then I was like, okay, that was kind of cool. Kind of got to say hi to them. They probably like, who the hell is this guy? What's he doing? And then we got out onto the ice with all the OG Ducks and stuff like that, and just kind of skated around, shooting the pucks around. And then next thing I know, Garrison walks out to the bench, and I'm like, oh, hey man, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, Jake Vertanen walks out, McEwen walks out, Besser walks out. Who else? Bo comes out, so I got to meet him. Got to take a picture with all those guys. I think there was one more that I just can't remember. But yeah, they were out. Got to meet them. It was great. The first thing Besser said, being from Minnesota, he's like, "So where's the cake eater?" So then I'm like, "Yeah, hey, Adam, come on over." Got introduced everybody to him. So that was a dream come true. So slowly it's starting to creep back into my life. Still, the story's getting along. But then I get this. Then I got to go to the Las Vegas Hockey Awards. They just invited me. I just hung out in the crowd. Keenan Thompson was hosting it, so I got to say hi to him for a bit and got to see an old friend. And then I kind of hear whispers like already in the news, like they're saying, "Oh, Mighty Ducks series is coming out," and then okay, Emilio's involved, and then okay, it's the Mighty Ducks are the bad guys, and there's this new kid that gets kicked off the Mighty Ducks, and then I start emailing Jordan Kerner, and I'm like, "Hey, I wasn't even looking for a job. I was just like, if you're in Vancouver, I'd love to take you out for lunch or dinner. I owe you so much for what you gave me, the opportunities you gave me when I was a kid. You're going to be in Vancouver. It's my town. I'd love to take you to some of my favorite restaurant spots." And then later on, I kind of get whispers that like, hey, maybe there's some original Ducks coming back. And then I think about a month before we filmed our episode, I get an email while I'm camping in Tofino, which is off the coast of Vancouver Island. It's like this really nice surfing beach and stuff like that. I'm not a surfer, but I'm in the camp. I'm in my sleeping bag, and I just see this email, and I'm like, okay, well, kind of on vacation. I don't want to spend the next 2 hours writing, deleting, rewriting, deleting, and rewriting this draft on a simple answer, which could have just been, yes, I will be part of the Mighty Ducks again. So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to spend too much time doing this. I'll wait for later. And then next thing I know, I'm walking on the beach and I get this call and it's got a US number and it's the casting directors. And I said, yes, I want to be part of Mighty Ducks, the Game Changers. So that's how that all went down. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, who's going to be in it with me? Are they all coming up? Who's going to come up to Vancouver? I get to show everybody the town. And then the 5 other Ducks came into town. Steve Brill, the writer, creator of everything Mighty Ducks, he emails everybody, hey, I got the script. We'll send it to you in a couple days. And that's when I found out that Matt was in town, Eldon was in town, Marguerite, and Vinny. And then after their quarantine, we hung out for a few days because actually we didn't have to work much, and we had a blast. And meeting the new Ducks was amazing, the Don't Bothers, and it was just like, I don't know, like I think I posted the other day, it was almost like a tornado, like picked me up and then just kind of like gently put me back down.
Wow. It is like an adventure, like you said.
Yeah, it was. Sorry about the long story, but like that's pretty much how Mighty Ducks came back into my life.
The more the merrier. That's what I say. It's good, you know. Wow. And then you know how you mentioned like Bo Herbert. I don't know if I told you, believe it or not, Bo Herbert. Like I met him. He gave me his game use hockey stick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a classy guy. I'd like to actually have a good conversation with him because when I took a photo with him, it was just basically, hey, how's it going? Good luck with the year, blah, blah, blah. And I just took a picture.
If I ever get him on the podcast, I'll be like, hey, Justin, you want to join this call?
Of course, I would love it.
That's cool, you know? Like, you'll be like 2 Canuck fans interviewing the captain of the Canucks.
Yeah. That would be so awesome.
I got you, Justin.
Right on.
Okay. Now, is there like a role you want to do, like a mystery, action? Is there like a role you want to do?
I have no idea. I actually am just like kind of talking to my agent right now about whether or not I want to continue acting again. And I think you might be the first person that I'm actually telling that I think I might actually go for it. Everybody else that asked, I told them that I'll see. I want to, because like I think you're one of the few people to actually get an interview with me after the episode aired. But before that, I was just telling people if I could watch the episode and see myself on the screen and not cringe every single time I see myself, then I will think about getting back into acting. And then I will ask my agent that helps me out for this episode if she thinks that I could be competitive in the acting world. So as for parts, I will take anything I could get, really. It'd be cool to do action. It'd be cool to do anything, really. But first, I got to see how good of an actor I am first. I'm a little rusty.
I think you're very talented, Justin.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
I didn't cringe too badly when I saw myself.
And believe it or not, I don't know if I told you, for a hobby, I actually write scripts.
Oh yeah, right on.
So if you ever want to read a script and you
yeah, I'd be down. Yeah.
Yeah. You were saying though, you actually, and then you were saying.
I took a script writing course, I think when I was in my early 20s, just for fun. And I think I have like this script somewhere. No, it's probably lost, long gone by now. I had it on an old laptop somewhere, and it probably died. But like, yeah, I tried writing a script a long time ago, and it's an interesting interesting craft, like having to do that sort of stuff. And Garrett is really good at it. He plays Guy, and so is Matt. They've been writing for I don't know how long. Garrett does short movies. I think coming up now, I think it was stalled a little bit by COVID, but he's filming his first short. I don't know if it's his first, but he's filming a independent feature film. That I believe he's really excited about. He did GoFundMe sometime back in January or February, but I think everything is up off the ground. They just gotta get into filming. and I'm looking forward to seeing that. But he's also got a bunch of short movies out there, I believe, and they're all really good. He's always wanted to be a director ever since he was young. And then Matt's constantly kind of shopping scripts around or trying to become part of writing teams as well.
Oh, that's really cool. That is it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, my scripts, like believe it or not, like I'm actually writing like a new idea like right now. Not as not like during the podcast, but like right now as we speak. Like I think it's a really good idea. Like I think it'll be like a good idea maybe for like a movie.
Yeah. Right. What's it about?
Okay, so this kid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was this kid, right? He thought his mom. Okay, it's like kind of crazy and mysterious. Okay, he thought his mom died from like cancer, right?
Yeah.
But then his like mom contacts him to like through like a radio type of thing, and like she gives him hints, but she actually didn't die from cancer. She died from something else.
Yeah.
He has to try to figure. And she's like a song that she used to like play for him like as a kid, and he keeps singing the song through the radio. And he tries to figure out the clues, if that makes sense.
Oh, so maybe she's like in some sort of other dimension or like halfway between life and death or something.
You have to find out.
That sounds pretty cool, man.
I don't know. I just like I love writing scripts, so like I bet you'd be like, holy smoke show, like oh my god,
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, have you ever taken a script writing course? And do you know kind of like, I don't know, the like the whole thing, like a page is a minute, that sort of thing?
They actually taught that in my high school. I actually took a course in high school. Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome how they have that sort of thing for you in high school, because like my school didn't have anything creative like that. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun hobby, to write scripts and to write.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with co-stars, directors? Do you still keep in touch with people?
Every once in a while, I'll shoot an email to Jordan Kerner to see how he's doing. I sent him an email for his birthday a few months ago, and then I also asked him for a reference letter of sorts. And Steve has been emailing the six of us that were in the episode every once in a while, and the six of us have a text chain that we've kept since the series. So every once in a while, someone will pop up and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" That sort of thing. And then I think that's about it, because I haven't really seen anybody else. Like, being in Vancouver, I feel like I'm on a bit of an island. Nobody else is up here. I'm sure that people that are in LA, they bump into each other every once in a while, and people in New York bump into each other every once in a while. So they probably keep in touch a little bit more than I am, but for me, it's either through email or a text or internet. And I feel like the six of us that were in this episode, we got to know each other in a very different way than we did as when we were kids filming D2 and D3. Then you're kids, you're just kind of like automatically friends. You don't know everything about each other. You just have fun together. Where now, as adults, you meet, you get to know what we've been up to, what kind of has shaped our lives, what we do or want to do as a living. You talk more about kind of like, I guess, adult things, like things that seem to connect people in a different way than kids that just hang out and play together. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I definitely hear from the six that came up here a little bit here and there now.
Wow, that'd be cool too. Like if you guys could all like come, like all the cast members, like from D1 to like all of them, like
yeah,
all by heart, but
yeah. that would be amazing. I don't know what the budget request would be for an episode like that, but I imagine Steve has a lot of ideas of how to sprinkle us throughout the series. Hopefully it gets signed for season 2 so that the fans can see more of the OG Ducks.
Yeah,
and so that I could have them all in town, and like even if I'm not in the episode that they're in, I just be like, hey, come on out. I want to hang out with you guys.
Or it'd be cool, like like a call, like you got like a big Skype call, and you see like all, you're like, hey guys, what's up?
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Now, who's the coolest person you've worked with? The coolest.
Whew, that's so tough because they're all so cool. I would have to say Emilio
Okay.
is really awesome. I always say that he is, as an aspiring actor or any actor, he's kind of someone that you should look towards to kind of model yourself after for on-set professionalism, because he is so professional. Um, I only like I've only worked with him a little bit, even though I was in the movies with him. But Ken Wood only has like a few scenes with him. But like, I just know, like, I hear from everybody else that he always just has fun. He's always friendly. He always wants to help out. He rarely is just hanging out in his dressing room. He's always kind of on set, ready to be approached, that sort of thing, ready to work. And he's just someone to look up to. And when we were doing D2, he did the coolest thing. He rented out one of those kind of like fun parks where you have like arcades, go-karts, batting cages, all that sort of stuff. And like basically the whole place was ours. And you could just walk up to any arcade machine and press go. You didn't have to put any coins in. You could get into a go-kart. I mean, you can't just like jump into a go-kart and run wild, but like you can safely get into the line, get into a go-kart, go around the track, or go into the batting cages. And he did that for us, which is like amazing way to like get all these kids together and just get to know each other. But yeah, everybody's so cool. Like there's nobody that is not cool. There's no one on top of the list. There's no one on the bottom list. Everybody during D2 and D3 are just amazing.
Wow, I like to hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And like, remember how before we go to the next one, remember how I mentioned the Skype thing with all the people?
Yeah.
Yeah, try this. Yeah, try that. It'd be cool, you know. We had to like, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, try. You know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because like that awkward silence after someone like asks a question on Skype, and then like everybody's just like waiting for someone else to answer, and then there's like that 5 seconds, and all of a sudden everybody starts talking at once. So
cool though, you know, like if you haven't seen somebody like in like 30 years or something, you know.
Yeah, which would be about that. Like I haven't seen Josh in that amount of time. I haven't seen Ty, who plays Dwayne, in that amount of time. I think that's it, because it was Josh, Ty that didn't make it to the reunion, and Keenan as well. But I did get to see Keenan in Las Vegas. So, but I think I've connected with everybody else that I've worked with in D2 and D3, other than those two.
That would be cool though. Oh, yeah. That's so cool. I'd be like, holy smokes, you know. And then like, you guys like recited like some iconic lines, like let's say, I don't know, like some iconic lines, like, you know what I mean, like ducks fly together or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool. Like, I'm like, holy smokes, the ducks are on my screen. Okay. Now, is there a director that taught you the most, and is there a director you want to work with, like Spielberg, Scorsese? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. For me as a kid during D2 and D3, like I was just along for the ride. Yeah. I knew the directors. It was and like they helped me out. They got what I needed to do. But yeah, that's a tough question because I have no idea. Like, it would be awesome to work with some really world famous directors if I ever have the chance or the ability to do so. Like, I don't know if I'm a good enough actor to be able to work with such acclaimed directors as such, but I would love to work with them. So yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. If I don't I want to do like screenwriting and also directing. That's what I want to do as a career.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good luck with that.
Thank you. Okay. Now, if you never did acting or did D2, D3, like what would your career be? And what hobbies do you have besides acting? I know also what got you into photography, because I see some photography photos on your phone or your Instagram.
Well, if I didn't have the Mighty Ducks, I imagine I'd still be on a similar path as to where I kind of ended up as an audio engineer.
Okay.
I got into audio engineering because my mom bought my dad a guitar at one point, an acoustic guitar, and that eventually became mine because it went to my bedroom and never left. And then I just kind of started recording myself, like at first with like a tape deck, and then a stereo with 2 karaoke mics. I would record on one tape, play it in the B tape, out the speakers, put a mic on that, put a mic on this other guitar, and actually that's how I would multi-track. I'd actually have to tune down my guitar because the tape would play back a little slower. And then eventually got like a 4-track machine, and then eventually started going to school for it. And then that's when I started to actually do it as a profession. I graduated from a school called the Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts in Liverpool, England, which is actually founded by Paul McCartney. And so he created that school for music, for dance, and for acting. And then along with that came all the tech. So they had audio engineering, they had costume design, set design, and lighting, so that we could do full theatrical plays or do full recordings of music. And so I went there for a bit and then came back, recorded it at a studio that did a lot of jazz, blues, world music, and then opened up my own studio with my partner, recorded a bunch of local bands, and then I got into concerts. So I think that without acting, I feel like I would still have followed that route. And then as for photography, I think it was about, I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, my friend showed up with this like really small digital SLR camera, and I'm like, that's a pretty awesome camera. It's small, but yet it has full manual capabilities, and you can even change lenses. I'm like, so what's this new invention that I've never heard of before? And I said, like, well, I'd like to be able to I work concerts, so I'd like to be able to take concert photography and do some low light. So he suggested for me to get a Sony A6000, which is an amazing camera. It has all the manual capabilities, all the lenses, the E-mount lenses that Sony makes. They have like introductory lenses that don't cost more than like cost between $300 to $500. You can buy more expensive ones, but as a hobby photographer, it's like a great camera that you can just easily carry around everywhere. It's not giant, and lenses are relatively cheap, so you don't have to like spend thousands of dollars on lenses to get what you want. So that's how I got into photography, and then I've just been, I wouldn't say I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not a professional photographer by any means. I just go out there and I take a picture of something that I think looks cool, and then I'll process it like in Lightroom later.
I like that one picture you took today. That looked like a bee on a flower, I think, if I'm right.
Yep. Yeah, that's the macro 30mm lens for the E-mount system, and that lens only costs like $300.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool. Oh.
Yeah.
Now, for what you said, you do auto engineering for like concerts. Like, do you like what? So, or some, if you don't mind me asking, some acts you've done, like, or done an auto engineering.
So basically, as an audio engineer, you kind of forget what you've done, but highlights, like mostly I do monitors, which is, if you don't know, is basically I'm side stage, I control the audio on sound. So I work, for the most part, I work directly with the musicians. I just be like, okay, when we're doing sound check, I'll say like, someone's checking the kick, and I'm like, okay, who wants kick in their wedge, in their little speaker in front of them? And they'll put up their hands, they'll put it down if they have enough, and we'll just go through that process. So I kind of take care of the musicians on stage while someone else is out front making sure it sounds good for the audience. But highlights, at one theater I work at, I also do several other tech things like follow spot and stuff like that. I did follow spot for Prince. He did a 4-show run at the Vogue Theater in Vancouver. He did an afternoon show, night show, afternoon show, and night show 2 days in a row. And so basically, I was way up in the projection booth, just pointing the follow spot on him, just kind of following him around all night. So that was fun, even though, like, to me, from where I was, he was just like this tiny little figure standing away in the distance. I couldn't even tell if it was really him or not. But people that went to the show and the crew says, yeah, it was him, and his name was on the marquee. So I got to work with Prince. And And then I think a smaller venue that I work at is 500, 600 cap. So, like at the Vogue Theater, it's a bigger venue, 1,300 cap. I don't generally work directly with a musician unless they're kind of a local act. But all the tours that come through, I worked with their technicians. So I tell their monitor engineer where to plug in. I tell him if he needs anything, he asks me, and I make sure that the venue is there to support them and their artists. At the smaller venue, I work more with the artists, so I've got to work with a punk band called Millencolin, a Swedish punk band, which I love. They're amazing. I got to work with Lee Fields, amazing R&B singer, if you don't know who that is. I got to work with an awesome psych band called Kikagako Moyo. They're from Japan. They're amazing. You got to check them out. At the Vogue, I didn't work directly with the musicians, but I worked with a crew, Courtney Barnett. She's amazing. I've got to do on a festival. I got to work with White Denim, another '80s band. I don't know if anybody knows who any of these bands are, but they're some of my favorites. But Prince, even though it was just Follow Spot, probably one of the biggest highlights, probably one of the more famous people. I mean, I guess Mumford & Sons came in to the Vogue before they blew up. So got to work with them, got to work with 21 Pilots, again, mostly with their crew. But these are kind of like highlight shows. So yeah, there's almost too many to name.
Have you, since you said like, hometown acts, do you know Loverboy?
Yeah, I've worked with them.
Because they're Canadian. I think they're from Vancouver, maybe?
They're from Vancouver, yeah. So I've worked, for famous classic rock Vancouver bands, I've worked with Chilliwack.
Okay.
I've worked with Loverboy. I've worked with April Wine.
Okay.
Who else? Doug and the Slugs. I don't know if you know who that is. And then other Canadian acts. Oh, who's that guy that sings Patio Lanterns? Oh, I can't believe I forget his name. Do you know who sings Patio Lanterns? But basically, amazing. Still an amazing musician. Yeah, if you could quickly look him up. Sorry?
Kim Mitchell?
Yes, Kim Mitchell. Amazing. I got to work with him a few years ago at a festival, and he is still on the top of his game. Like, vocally, guitar-wise, and the band that he still has. I think he still has his original bass member. I've worked with Nazareth.
Okay.
Their famous song is "Now You're Messing with the Son of." It's called "Hair of the Dog," but the chorus is "Now You're Messing with the son of a bitch." And I don't know. I did these classic rock festivals. Like, I've worked with some cool acts because I actually listened to a lot of classic rock when I was a teenager. So it was pretty cool to do those shows. But lots of concerts. I've been doing it for I've been doing monitors for almost maybe 8 years now, so I've worked with a lot of acts.
Wow, that's a lot. 8 years, like dang.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like it's pretty interesting how like I was so fortunate to like be in D2, D3. Got to meet Gretzky, Korea, all those people, and then later on down the line, and now I'm in another industry where I've got to meet a whole bunch of other people in a different way. I've actually did this one convention where I didn't get to meet, but I got to put lavalier microphones. So this would be actually the process of sticking my hand up the back of people's shirt to get a cable and get a mic onto around their ears and stuff like that. So I got to do that to William Shatner.
Oh my God. That's cool.
Justin Trudeau. Maria Shriver, Arnold Schwarzenegger's ex-wife. I forget how to pronounce her name. Like, who else? What other famous person came that day? Actually, the funniest thing is Luke Robitaille came to do a talk, and I was sitting there, I was like, should I tell him I've actually met him before in the situation that I've met him in? I decided to keep it quiet because I think I was too shy to bring it up. But yeah, so. Yeah, I had that one part of my life, got to do a whole bunch of extraordinary things, And then now I got this part of my life, which I also still got to do extraordinary things, which is, I guess I'm just very fortunate and very lucky.
I like that. Believe it or not, like you mentioned music. I actually got to meet my favorite music group of all time. Actually,
Yeah.
I met Brian May and Roger Taylor, Queen.
Yeah.
I met those guys in person.
Awesome. That's amazing. Yeah, they're legends for sure.
Yeah, like when you mentioned music, I was like, "Holy smoke, you're talking my music, classic rock." Like, oh, that's like the music I like.
Right on.
Okay, now that's the next question. Do you have a favorite band and type of music? That's funny. You have a favorite-
That's always such a hard question. So, if I were to name my top three, I'm looking at my vinyl collection right now. So there's a band called Bad Astronaut that don't exist anymore, but they're kind of like a distant cousin of a band called Lagwagon, which is part of the Fat Wreck record label, like with like the fast kind of like pop hardcore punk, like NoFX, that sort of thing. So Lagwagon is that sort of kind of fast punk band, but the lead singer Joey Cape did the side project called Bad Astronaut, and it's kind of a slowed down version of fast punk. And I've been a fan. They've only got like 3 albums, and they're like still my top favorite band. My second would be a Canadian band from Brampton, Ontario, which also they're not together anymore and they don't write music anymore, but called Moneen, Moneen, and they're kind of like they're emo music, but not like your typical long hair across the face, dyed black emo music. They're kind of like just real techie. They got weird time signatures. They got weird chord progressions. They got crazy kind of intricate drum patterns. So they're one of my top 3. And then White Denim, who I mentioned, I think are amazing. They kind of got like the southern rock sound. The earlier albums are kind of like have like kind of a bit of fusion rock into it, like it's like really techie stuff. They did a show here a couple years ago. I wasn't working it, but they played at a venue across the street from one of the venues I work at, and I knew the promoter, so I got in, and they played for like an hour and a half, high energy rock music with like fast guitar, fast bass, fast drums, fast keyboards, and then they just stopped about hour and a half into it, and they're like, so does anybody have to go to work tomorrow? And everyone's like, no. And they're like, okay, we're just going to keep playing. And then they played for like another hour. So those would be my top 3. I mean, Lagwagon is up there. When it comes to classic rock, you got to love Jimi Hendrix. You got to love Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. What else? Like Supertramp, all that sort of stuff. For more popular bands, maybe like 90s stuff. Like I really like Green Day, Foo Fighters, Our Lady Peace, which was a big Canadian kind of 90s kind of alternative band. And then, yeah, just a bit of punk like Rancid, NoFX, Sublime, that sort of stuff. I listen to all sorts of stuff. The only thing I don't really listen to is kind of like new country. I don't listen to a lot of EDM, or I don't listen to any. I have a hard time understanding it. Nothing against EDM and fans of EDM, but it's just something that I don't understand. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will listen to punk and be like, oh, that's all sounds the same to me. Well, I listen to EDM and it feels like that sounds all the same to me as well. But there's definitely a skill to it. I don't want to knock it. I definitely wouldn't be able to sit there and find a sound for an hour just to say, okay, that's the sound I want to put in this track and then produce it that sort of way. That's definitely a skill of patience and very like pickiness and precision. So there's definitely a skill and talent that goes into it. So those genres I don't really listen to. I listen to a bit of hip hop, nothing new. Like I would listen to like Jurassic 5 or like the Far Side back in the 90s, like 90s hip hop and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm into anything that's good. that will like, if I listen to it and I say, wow, I like this, then I'll listen to it.
Nice, because I've actually also interviewed like other musicians. Like, do you know Joe Esposito? He sings "You're the Best." Like, you're the best. I can't sing, but you know the song or no? Like,
what kind of music is it?
It's like, do you know the Karate Kid movie? The original Karate Kid movie?
Yeah, I haven't seen it in many years.
Oh. It's like "You're the Best."
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's kind of like that, kind of kind of an anthem song, like to get you pumped up. Yeah.
I've interviewed him, and then I've interviewed the drummer for White Lion. Do you know the band White Lion?
No.
They sing like "Wait," "Hungry." I don't know.
Are they classic rock as well?
Yes.
I'd have to hear it because like I bet you I know the song. I'm not really good with band names and song names, but I'm pretty sure I'd know it.
So you hear it like that's like me. Like if you hear the song, like oh I know them. You know.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Now, do you have a favorite sports and favorite teams? Like if you had to go by the sports and teams.
The only sport that I follow is NHL hockey. And even then, the only team that I really follow is Vancouver, the Vancouver Canucks. So, if it gets in the playoffs and the Canucks aren't in the playoffs, I'll follow a bit. I will try to at least watch the Stanley Cup final, just because I know there won't be any more hockey for another 4 or 5 months. So I just get that one last bit of hockey, NHL hockey, before it goes away. So yeah, the Vancouver Canucks are my favorite. They're breaking my heart right now, but we'll get that draft pick. Hopefully we won't sink too low in the lottery. I think the lottery is a bit different now. So even if we finish last or in the last 3 spots, only the first 2 picks, I believe, are in a lottery. So you only get affected so much because we've been dropping from like 3 spaces every year so far. I still play hockey when I can. Of course, with COVID right now, everything's shut down, but I play with a group every Wednesday. Shout out to those guys. And I can't wait to get back with them. There's a couple other groups that I play with as well, and I hope to get back with them too. So hopefully when COVID's over, when everybody's vaccinated, we can get back to it. But yeah, hockey is my sport.
Oh, okay. Now, since you're on the hockey, top 3 current Canucks and top 3 non-Canucks. Go.
Top 3 current Canucks and non-Canucks?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll start with the Canucks. So top 3 would be Bois.
Okay.
Oh, this is tough. Well, definitely Bois, Petey. Ooh, Besser.
Okay.
If I could cheat a little bit, there would also be Miller, Quinn. Top 3 is tough. Let's do top 5. Let's add Miller and the top 6: Miller, Quinn, and Demko.
Okay.
So, yeah, basically the core of our team moving forward. They're like, I'm huge fans of them. Like, Bois would be number 1. Petey, I think, would be number 2. Everybody else, 3. I just hope Miller doesn't keep on giving away the puck he does. But like when he's on his game, he's on his game. But he's a high risk player, so I understand eventually those high risk plays are going to bite him in the ass. But he's got to be more careful with that sort of stuff. I see Besser doing it as well. But yeah, hopefully when we get a better defense core, those sort of mistakes won't be so detrimental to the game, and that we can recover from that sort of thing. We already have awesome goaltenders, which would help on that end, but we need the defense core to figure out what's going on there whenever we accidentally cough up a puck like that. So non-Canuck players, I would have to say Jonathan Toews. Like, you being from Chicago, you gotta, like, if you're not a Chicago fan, you gotta at least like Toews, because comparing his leadership ability to Bois, I feel it's similar. For a person that could just take a team and carry them on their back, get those clutch goals, get those important goals. He might not be like a high points player like Kane or anything like that, but he's that leader. He's that nucleus in the room that would pick up his team when they're down and carry them across the finish line. That sort of thing. I'm going to count the. Do they have to be currently playing?
That's up to you.
All time. Okay, so if it's all time, Trevor Linden. Trevor Linden, just like Bois, just like Toews, clutch goals when you need it. Most importantly, that player will show up. He's the reason why Ken Wu is number 16.
Oh wow.
So all-time favorite. I actually have Canucks color shoes. Like New Balance has a customization option on their website to order shoes, and I picked the 90s colors, so I got black, yellow, and red. And then on the back, you could do an inscription of like they'll stitch something in, and I got 16 on one heel, and I got 53 for Bo Horvat on the other.
We're like, oh my god. Do you like have at the show if you don't mind, or no?
Here, hold on, I'll grab it.
Yeah, take your time. That's so cool, actually. Wow, that's awesome. Wow. Wow. I'm sorry, but when you said that, that's awesome.
So here they are. So they got black, yellow, and red. And then here's, I don't know how well this is going to turn out, but it's 16. Trevor Linden. It's backwards on my camera, so I don't know how that's going to show it. And then 53 on this side.
That's cool. I'm sorry, that's cool.
Yeah. And my first Canucks jersey I've ever bought. I've never bought one until last year during the 50th anniversary, and I got their throwback flying skate black jersey. And because it was an Adidas and not a CCM, I put Bo Horvat on there. Mm-hmm. If it was like actual 90s CCM flying skate jersey, I would have put Linden on there.
Oh.
So Linden, and then top 3 is tough, man. But I would have to say, I'm going to say the Sedins as one player.
Yeah, that works. Sedins.
Yeah. So just as I was saying before, outstanding citizens, great leaders, better people off the ice than they were on the ice, but they were great on the ice. So that just says what type of people they were off the ice. I wish I got to actually have a good conversation with them when I did that commercial, but they still live in Vancouver. I saw in the news that they volunteer for crossing guards for their kids' school and stuff like that, and they still visit the Canucks hospital, the children's hospital, that sort of thing. So amazing people. So those would be my top 3 in no particular order. But although they're Canucks, so I kind of cheated. So non-Canucks, man, that's tough.
Chris Tanev, I'm just kidding, right? Because he used to play the Canucks.
yeah. We'll say him because he's a Calgary Flame now. I mean, like, it's hard to not include Crosby, the gold medal game for Canada in Vancouver, which was the most amazing 2 weeks. I got to work on the mountain for the half pipe, so that was amazing. There's a little side stage for the half pipe where DJs and bands would play, so I was like helping out up there. And then maybe a Ginla. I don't know.
He was a good player.
Yeah. I wish he didn't fizzle out the way he did, jumping from team to team.
Yeah.
I wish he kind of retired as a Flame, but he did do the Flames a solid by like saying trade me for a pick or some sort of future prospect, that sort of thing. So that's a class act, and I think that's why I like him. He's just a classy player. He scores, he hits, he fights, he does like everything hockey. So that's why I like him as well.
I like that. See, my favorite like non-Canuck would probably be Braden Point with the Lightning.
Oh yeah. I don't watch Tampa Bay very often, but yeah, I hear he's a great player.
He's very nice. Like once you meet, you're like, oh my god, this kid's like so humble, down to earth. Like he's very nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what is your favorite food, and why is it your favorite?
I do like a good Indian curry. Lamb sog. So that's like a curry mostly made from spinach, and then they'll slow cook the lamb so that it just kind of like tears apart, and it's super tasty. If I had to pick one, that would be one.
Sounds good right now. Not good.
Yeah, it's one of the few things that I would like accidentally gorge myself on. Everything else I could be like, okay, I've had enough, save it for later. But like this stuff, I just be like, I'll just gotta keep eating it.
Nice. Okay. Now, hopefully when things get back to normal sooner rather than later, do you have any projects in the works? Are there any things you haven't watched?
Not really. I just hope to see some friends that I haven't seen in a long time. And I want to play hockey again. As for projects, I have been recording some covers. Like back in 2010 or so, I had a band that me and my friend wrote an album. It's called The Patience Product. So it's kind of like acoustic folky rock with some punk influence, some emo influence, that sort of thing. And so we kind of like played around towns and dives around town like that for about a year and a half or so. But then I just couldn't write any more songs, so we just kind of like called it quits. So recently, I still don't write songs, but I decided to kind of take this project of like taking kind of like 90s to early 2000 kind of like punk or alternative songs and turn them into slow kind of acoustic songs. So I was going to actually wait to kind of release this, but for anybody listening to this podcast, if you look up The Patience Product on Bandcamp, there's an album called Punk Covers. There's my original album that I did in 2008, 2009, or 2010, or whatever year that was, called Change of Heart, Change of Tune. But then I have this other one called Punk Covers, and I actually cover the Green Day song called Having a Blast.
Okay, I know that song.
Yeah, so it's on the album Dookie. I still have to sign up for some mechanical copyrights if I actually want to sell it. So right now it costs $5,000 if you want to buy it, because I put it up there because I don't want it to sell, because I have to make sure the money goes to Billy Joe and Green Day properly, sort of thing, if I do put it up for sale. But you can listen to it on Bandcamp if you can't afford it for $5,000.
Yeah, you talk about music. You know, Michael, my brother, he actually writes music, like lyrics.
Oh yeah,
like let's
right
read
on.
it. Does
he just write lyrics on paper? Does he have a melody in mind when he does it, that sort of thing, or?
I have no. You have to ask him. I don't know. He's like in his music zone. That's what he calls it. His music zone. He loves writing music. You know.
Right.
So you could ask him. You're like, hey, Michael, how do you? You're like, what?
I mean, I have written some stuff, but not with, like, there's this kind of stuff where I would get the same drummer that played on the Patience Product. I would get him to I would just give him a click track, and I just change the beats, BPM. I just say, hey, play some beats, that sort of thing. Make sure you throw some fills in there, some different cymbals, that sort of thing. And then I would cut it up and then kind of loop it. Me and my other friend, we would like start with like maybe playing a little guitar riff to a part, and then add the bass, and then add everything else, add keyboards, that sort of thing. And eventually it would just kind of turn it into an instrumental song. I don't think I have that up anywhere, but I probably will soon. It might not be called The Patience Product, so it might be on another Bandcamp page. But yeah, I've been just kind of fiddling with it here and there, but just for fun, like purely just for fun. Like I don't have any aspirations to become a rock star or anything like that. But yeah, that's because I have the tools to record. I just do that every once in a while for fun.
You should create like a YouTube channel, like put like your like covers, whatever you want. Like you should. You know,
I'll look into that. Like I don't actually go on YouTube very often, so, and then I also don't videotape myself very often. I might be able to put like maybe a slideshow of my photos and stuff like that or something like that. But I've been trying to think about how to kind of release a song. Should I release it with a video? What should the video be about? I've done some stop motion stuff in the past with my camera because it's got an application in it to do stop motion, or just like just basically where it could just sit there and just like click every 5 seconds or something like that. So time lapse, that's the word. So I might do something like that, but I don't know. I want to do something creative with it, but I don't know quite yet. But if you want to listen to it, it's up there on Bandcamp under the Patience Product.
I'll link that too. Like, I'll make sure if you want me to, I can link it.
Yeah, sure, man. No problem. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what is your advice for acting? What's your acting advice?
Oof. See, I don't have much advice because I don't consider myself an actor.
Okay.
But my Uh, my advice would be is stay humble.
Yes.
I
That's all.
guess if you're getting into it, if you're having some success, don't take it for granted.
Mhm.
Stay professional, that sort of thing, and just remember that very few people get to do this.
Mhm.
So try to appreciate it, basically, is what I would have to say. That, and also it's a craft. So of course, like some people obviously have like this natural skill, instinct, and ability, but still, all these famous actors, they work on their craft. They don't just go home. I imagine they don't just go home at the end of the day and don't do anything. I imagine they go home and they practice their lines. Even if they aren't working, they find scripts that they can practice. They maybe go to coaches to take some acting coaches. Yeah, it's just like sports or anything, any other profession in life. It's practice, practice, practice. You don't get better unless you do that sort of thing. So that would be my advice.
I like that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Now, is there anything you'd like to promote and shout out that I can link down below in the video description?
I can't think of anything. No, like I mean, obviously the Mighty Ducks Game Changers. There's 4 more episodes. One's coming out tomorrow. Watch that. Get it. Like it's so good. It's like the new kids are amazing. The storyline is amazing. Emilio as Gordon Bombay, how sarcastic and salty he is it's hilarious. I think it's awesome. Lauren Graham is awesome. All the new kids, I want to say all their names, but I'm worried that I'll miss one of them. Okay, let me try. So like Brady is awesome. Sway is awesome. Bella's awesome. Tegan, Kiefer, Coob. What's Coob's name?
Luke.
Luke. Yes, Luke Islam is awesome. DJ is awesome. Max.
Yeah, that was
awesome. They're all awesome. Even the other surrounding cast members. Emily Haynes, who plays Winnie, is from Vancouver. Julie is amazing as Stephanie. I hope that's everybody. But yeah, it's so good. Please watch it because then they'll get signed to season 2. And for the fans, if they get signed to season 2, that means more OG Ducks will get to come. Yes. That means I'd get to hang out with them in Vancouver. That means the new Don't Bothers get to meet them as well. So yeah, I'd like if I were to promote anything, it would be that and look up for Garrett's indie movies. Of course, Marguerite's always acting. Eldon's always acting. So check out their shows if you can. There's Wet Hot American Summer that Marguerite was in. Eldon was in Daredevil, that sort of thing. Matt's writing scripts. I don't know exactly where to find that stuff, but you can find him as Archie Doman. I don't know how exactly you spell that, but if you look at all the Mighty Ducks Game Changer stuff, he's tagged in everything, so you'll find him. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Well, I thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, and Justin, for being awesome and amazing guest.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome, Justin.
Thank you.